As a gearhead, it's cool when everybody wants your opinion on cars. If a friend is buying a new car, they want to know what you think of it. Anytime anything happens in the automotive industry, they send you a link. But you know what's really cool? Is when a company reaches out and says, hey, we want to interview you for a research report. I never thought my opinions were all that interesting, but apparently they saw value in them, so here we are. When MG2 Advisory reached out to me, they were looking for someone with their finger on the pulse of the EV industry to talk about the future of EV charging stations. Now, I don't talk a lot about EVs on this channel, and I know a lot of gearheads aren't convinced, but personally, as an environmentalist, they strike me as the perfect balance between speed, that instant torque, and conservation. In a lot of ways, EVs are the future. They're not a threat to the internal combustion engine yet, and at the very least, it's another option in this wide world of cars and powertrain options. Now, I don't own an EV yet, but I will. If you went to the Rivian activation at South by Southwest, you saw the new R3, which looks like a modern Mark II Golf. And I'm seriously considering buying one when they launch. Not to mention, for a long time, I had plans drawn up to build a drag car out of a VW Squareback. I might still do that. Don't tempt me. The research report I contributed to focused on the future of charging stations. Now, you've no doubt seen new charging stations popping up at local gas stations, airports, and malls. But there's another world of standalone stations in covered buildings with seating areas, and some even have high-end convenience stores attached. So is this what EV drivers want? Turns out, yeah, actually. But more importantly than that is simply being able to get in, charge as quickly as possible, and get out, all while being protected from the elements. No one likes to wait. No one wants to wait in line for a station to free up and then wait forever on a slow, outdated charging tech. And no one wants to be rained on. All reasonable requests, if you ask me. Beyond that, people surveyed said that premium seating and quality food and drink options would entice them to leave their cars. As I said to the MG2 Advisory, researchers and strategists, the biggest competitor to the EV charging experience is the driver's phone. Whatever experience they offer has to be more enticing than simply getting back in their car, sitting in the driver's seat, and scrolling on their phone. And if you can get them out of their cars, it has to be comfortable. Let's be honest, nobody is leaving a plush driver's seat for plastic chairs. Secondly, good food and beverage options with either sit down or grab and go options is also an enticing experience. These findings are interesting, and in a lot of ways not really surprising, but they validate an important note here. The experience is the key. Everyone has experienced a place that sounds promising but is ultimately disappointing. And those are the places we don't return to. So when companies want to make their charging stations the go-to place for EV drivers, they're gonna need to make sure their customers are comfortable, happy, and ultimately want to return. Now, the report was built by people who were surveyed, and not everybody who took the survey actually owned an EV. Some of these were aspiring EV owners. So the data was really interesting about what people's actual experiences are and what people's expectations of an experience are. Some of the more interesting data in the report covered how to get both EV and non-EV drivers to a charging experience. So why would you as a non-EV driver go to a charging station? Well, it turns out children's play areas, networking and meetups, and partnering with local brands like coffee shops and that sort of thing can entice both EV and non-EV owners to the same experience. That creates an opportunity for exposures to EVs in general, giving EV and non-EV drivers the opportunity to see new cars and new charging tech up close. EV owners are evangelists, and so this gives an opportunity for them to tell their stories and talk about their experience driving EVs. That in turn can lead to greater EV adoption. The researchers uncovered three main personas: the speed seeker, the comfort cruiser, and the destination dweller. The speed seeker, they just want to get in and get out. They're on the go, they want to charge and get going as quickly as possible. Maybe they're busy executives. The comfort cruiser wants a comfortable, relaxing experience without the friction. They're going to hang out because this is a time for them to unwind and take a break from their busy life. The destination dweller, well, these are the folks that want the full experience. They're charging, but they're also soaking up every part of an engaging experience. So they're going to check everything out and stay for a while. You'll see these personas throughout the report and how they're reflected in various different findings throughout the research. It's really interesting. There's lots more interesting data in the report, so if you want to read more, I've put a link to download the report in the description. There's a whole bunch of really interesting data, like different driver profiles, key demographic insights, which are really interesting to me. Key note there, millennials and Gen Z are twice as likely to buy an EV as boomers. Again, not surprising, but kind of neat to see it bear out in the data. So if you drive an EV, leave me a comment and tell me about your worst experience while charging. And And if you don't have an EV and you went to charge your car for 15-20 minutes, what would you want out of a charging experience? Thanks again to the folks at MG2 Advisory for reaching out and including me in their research. I'm Chaz Forrester. Thanks for watching.